So this is just a mini talk, so only 3 more minutes until lunch. So today the story is about hypoxia, so that's when oxygen in the water falls below some threshold where life can no longer be sustained. And there's generally one definition of hypoxia. It doesn't matter what habitat you're in, whether you're swimming in marine or freshwater, or what species you are. And that's when oxygen falls below 2 milligrams of oxygen per litre of water. So that theory predicts that you end up looking like this if oxygen falls below that level in the water, a bit like how I feel after I've stepped off a long-haul flight, desiccated and a little bit dead. But what does this tell us? Does this tell us that this happens in freshwater systems? Will this happen? And it's an important question to answer because, as we've heard in previous talks, water managers can manage hypoxic events to a certain extent. And we want to know whether this will happen at 2 milligrams. This is where I'm introducing you to Kayla. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about her PhD, where she looked at the mainly physiological effects of hypoxia on freshwater fish. She did also different chemistry work tracking hypoxia. So what she did is she put exposed two species of fish, silver perch and golden perch, to hypoxia for a long time. That was 8 months. And that's significant because most studies are very short, they're only a few hours, because it's difficult to degas the water from oxygen and maintain the experimental system. So she invented a technique to do that. So what she did is she exposed fish to sublethal levels. That was 4 milligrams of oxygen. We had 2 as the universal sort of global limit where hypoxia is lethal, and then I didn't mention earlier that healthy waters is regarded as 8 milligrams. But what happened was the silver perch, even just within a few weeks, they all died at 4 milligrams. They didn't even make it through the experiment, which was a surprise to us. And the individuals in the control were absolutely fine. But what we found with the golden perch is they survived the full 8 months, and then Kayla could carry out different metabolic physiological tests. And one of those tests was hypoxia tolerance. So they were put in a chamber, they weren't allowed to air breathe, and she monitored oxygen levels until they showed signs of stress. And what happened was the animals who were exposed to hypoxia for the long term acclimated. So animals that were in control were tolerated hypoxia about 1 milligram, and the ones that are exposed to hypoxia